What is up, everybody? Drew Kerr here with CG Ruthless on our regular Tuesday show where we provide you with a beer review before we get into Niners football. How you doing today, man? How was your
Doing
week?
well. Doing really well, man. What a great time to have another beer on almost this type of summer season close by.
Yes, sir. So we are, like I said, we're going to do a beer review, and we usually kick it off with CG Ruthless. What are you sipping on today?
I'm sipping on a Firestone 805. This one actually has some lime on this, actually, lime flavors. So, I've drank this different occasion, but for some people, if you want to try something that has that lime flavor, you want to definitely try the white one with the 805 beer.
Yeah. I've had, when I lived in California, I definitely had the black label one. But I haven't had the white label one. I don't even think that I saw it when I lived in the Bay Area, but I really liked the black label one. I don't think it was too strong. It had really good flavor. So I definitely am a Firestone 805 fan. So definitely like that.
It's got a little bit of like if you want to go by comparison drinks, think of a drink like think of that one drink, think of like that one cactus drink, whatever it is, but it has like the lime flavor version of it. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, is it a beer or is it?
Yeah, Tecate. Think of Tecate, but just has that lime flavor into it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't have that stuff here. There's a little liquor store down the street from my house, and the guy's like, "Oh, if you have any beer recommendations, go ahead and let me know." And I actually told him to get 805, and I never went back. So, like, I don't know if he did or not. I feel kind of bad about that, but yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna let everybody into mine. This one's a little bit different. It's a darker beer. It's called Dirty Bastard.
Oh, they're Dirty Bastard.
Founders. So it's more of it says it's a malt sweetness with rich caramel notes. It says where the classics never do out or go out of style. Sorry, my eyes, I might need glasses. And new legends arise. So maybe we'll have some new legends arise for the Niners this year. And with that, cheers to you. Cheers to this week. Cheers to the Niners. Cheers to CMC. We'll go ahead and start with that topic. Cheers to CMC. What are your initial thoughts with him signing this extension? $38 million in new money, $24 million in guarantees, and lowers the cap in between $6 and $7 million.
Oh, so it just happened today. I guess that's good actually, because not only that we keep him for the foreseeable future, he gets his guarantee money, and plus it does free up some cap space too. So, yeah, I'm not upset about this. You got to keep CMC as a Niner long term,
Yeah. Is there anything that worries you about how long it is, though? Because he's under contract now for 4 years. He was asked about that today by the media. He was at the podium. You may not have had a chance to see it yet, but he essentially said, somebody asked him, are you worried about kind of that magical number of the age 30 when running backs typically slow down? And he's like, I don't think about that kind of stuff. And then Shanahan was asked about that as well. And Shanahan's like, we're going to, this season we're going to dial back some of his touches and things like that. So
I think as long as we try to find ways to keep CMC fresh, I think that's not going to be a concern. But the thing with CMC is he's the entire kind of offense in a way. Like he does a lot of special things. He's a good receiving back. He is a good all-around running back. I mean, you got to do whatever you can to retain this guy.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of view him personally as like the Michael Jordan of this team. Like he does pretty much everything. He can throw it, he can catch it, he can run it. He's sort of a life beat in that locker room from a lot of things that I've heard. So, I think that he's definitely one of the top 3 players on this team. Last year, I don't think that we go to the Super Bowl without CMC. So definitely vital to the Niners' success moving forward. So I don't think it's such a terrible contract, especially since it helps us out in cap space this year. We'll get into that a little bit more. Helps us out in cap space this year and next year. but with the guaranteed money. So
yeah, there is a lot of free up on that cap space, but so that's the positive side. At least we're able to, because when you extend these contracts, it does stretch up the money a little bit more. This guy's just funny, man. This guy's a joke. I like messing with him too, but he's a big troll.
Yeah, I've seen him around. It's funny. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, cheers to Jim Everett, the big troll, man. Even though he's a Rams fan, cheers, brother. But
cheers, aka Chris Everett, Chris Everett, as Jim Rome would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, huh? I remember when that dude said, yeah.
He's like, say it again, and then he hopped over the table and started trying to punch Jim Rome. That was an all-time classic sports moment. He's like, I bet you won't call me Chris one more time. He's like, oh, yes, I will, Chris. He like hops over the table.
Oh, yeah, I remember that video. I remember there was a video. I think one of the guys showed the video, like the Niner Miner guys. They were showing that video, and they showed Jim Everett kind of pissed off about it because he got offended.
Like, Chris Everett was a female tennis player at the time, a really successful one. But
and he said, what?
He kept calling, because he was like calling him soft essentially, so he kept calling him Chris, and it was an all-time funny sports moment.
Classic.
But, all right, so the first thing, we're just going to kind of keep the party moving, and top voidable contracts. We can kind of just go through, and I'll add this to the mix, and we can kind of just look. I think that there really isn't anything voidable this year. There's nothing that I noticed that's going to save us a whole lot of money in 2024. So, really what we're looking at is 2025. I do think the Niners are in a great position to afford Brandon Ayuk, as long as he's not asking for Justin Jefferson money. And I don't think he's really worth Justin Jefferson money. I don't know about you, but I don't think that he's really earned that. I think that CeeDee Lamb is probably going to ask for that because his numbers match Justin Jefferson's numbers and efficiency and just, the black and white stats. So I think that CeeDee Lamb in Dallas will ask for that, but I don't think that Brandon Ayuk can really truly ask for that kind of money. We'll see how true the Niners are to making Brandon a Niner for life. So we'll see how that shakes out, but I do think they'll pay him.
Yeah, he's going to get a top contract. I think the contract that he's looking for is somewhere between the $30 million. I don't let's get that out of the door. I don't think he's going to reset the market. He's not going to get nowhere near Jefferson's contract. I mean, the closest contract I see him getting is something like a St. Brown, St. Brown type contract maybe, but
I think he'll get a little bit more than that just because he offers more to the game. Numbers are numbers, but he does add that blocking element, and I think he's elite at that in this offense. So I think there's something to be said for that. I think that the guaranteed money has probably gone arrow up because of the Justin Jefferson contract. I think we are probably looking under $50 million guaranteed money prior to this. St. Brown got 35. I think that it's upwards of 50 now with Brandon Ayuk. I think that's the asking price. It was funny. I was on the SF Niners, Brad Graham's stuff today, and he kind of got something in as he was, chatting in his live. He got some information in, and he did say it was BA related. He kind of smirked. I don't know if it was good or bad. He said it wasn't bad. I don't know if there's a contract coming for Brandon Ayuk in the next few days. Jed York also had a cryptic tweet, but that could have been about CMC. Anyway, I'm not really sure, but I think that it's probably I think it'll happen before training camp.
Yeah, everything kind of works out itself. I mean, a lot of these contracts can definitely stretch up. I think there's going to be another guy that gets another contract. I think when you look at the rest of the guys, the ones who are going to test free agency, that Pari will get an extension before the season. Don't be surprised if Deommodore Lenoir gets that contract extension because he would be a bargain to bring back, actually.
Let's bring up his contract here. I don't know I think they're fine with maybe where he's at right now. I think he's a little bit further up here. Here we go.
But he would be our premier nickel.
So yeah, he's making $3 million this year. I don't really know if there's any reason to extend it. They should extend him and just pay him the 3.1.
I mean, yeah,
And
you can
I think,
stretch up the money. You can stretch up the money for the following year, but like if they want to go that route,
I think if I think that sorry. I think if they can bank on Renardo Green working out, that they could probably in 2025, and this is the next player actually on the list. I think that in 2025, Charvarius Ward would be a 12.2 cap hit. If they trade him post June 1st, it's only a 4.9 dead cap hit. Let me double check that, make sure that I have that right. So trade post June. Charvarius Ward would be a 4.9 hit, but he would free up 7.3 million in space. So you could actually give that to Lenoir if Green was working out, and Green is obviously way cheaper because he's going to be on a rookie deal. He can't even negotiate for a few years. So I think that's one area, cornerback, that you could save some money there.
Yeah, it would, because Charvarius Ward, I guess his contract's very voidable, I guess. So it would be like a cap hit. Like if we were to like do that, so post June 1st, that would be the dead cap. So almost $5 million. So, but I don't think you want to let Ward go next year.
He would
hurt us.
I mean, yeah, I think that he could in the right situation. I think that if we had, sorry about that. I think that if we had him, if Green stepped up and he showed that he was that guy, Lenoir steps up, he's that guy, and then maybe Yiadom or one of those guys is extendable. I think is Yiadom on a 1 year?
Yeah, he's on a 1 year deal. He's on a prove it deal actually, because what he signed, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you might need Ward. The other one was in 2025 was Dre Greenlaw, but that's a higher dead cap hit. Oh, I'm sorry, not Greenlaw. Javon Hargrave. So Javon Hargrave would be a 7.3 dead cap hit, but he would free up almost $21 million. So Javon Hargrave's contract's a little bit of a problem moving forward. And then obviously you could see here Malik Collins would be a 0 dead cap hit next year and would free up $10 million. So there are some things that the Niners can do to minimize what would be they're kind of in a negative cap situation heading into next year, but there are a lot of moves that they can make to free up this $37 million. So
there's a lot of free options how to free up the money. So yeah, a lot of free ways, but I think this year we're going all in with getting these players their top contracts and all that stuff. So when you look at the rest of the contracts, like for Ward, we could actually, I don't know if we want to extend it, but wouldn't it stretch more of the money?
Yeah, I mean, they could do that. They could extend him, but he's, 28, 29? And he's just coming off a core surgery to his core. So, we'll see how he bounces back from that. Same with Kittle. But, we'll see. I mean, last year he was the third best corner in the NFL, third best rated corner in the NFL. So, if he bounces back and has an even better year, then yeah, I mean, extend him and make sure that money works out and rearrange it however you need to, more guaranteed money, less cap hit, however you want to work that. But I think that, this is the biggest part of the cap that you could probably eliminate, especially if he retires. If we get this guy a ring, we're not going to have to do anything. He's probably going to go out on top. He's going to retire. He's been talking about it for the last couple of years. And I think that's a big one.
I think he's not going to retire until maybe 2026, actually, because I think his contract is good for at least to the 2026 season. So,
yeah, I mean, he's just been hinting at it for the past couple of years. He's getting up there in age. We'll see what his age will be. Sorry about the ad. This is over the top, by the way.
Ad's yeah, no, but actually, his contract is good for another year too. But it's a big void. He would have to retire.
It's good for a few more. So yeah, next year.
Yeah. Oh, so by then he would be like, what is it? So his contract would be good until he was 37, but 38, that's where he gets the last of his contract actually. So wouldn't it be kind of a surprise if he actually finished his career at the end and just retires at 38 or 39, kind of like that one tackle that played for so many years still, Jason Peters? That dude played until he's 40 or something. Good Lord.
Yeah, but the back nine of his career, like those last years, were not elite years. I mean, Trent's a different breed, right? Like that guy's an athletic freak. He's an athletic freak. He takes care of himself. He's a pro's pro, so he knows what to do. But I did notice last year a little bit of slowdown. There was a little bit of slowdown. I mean, 2-3 years ago, this guy, you couldn't get by him, and people were getting by him a little bit last year.
Yeah, there's avoidable contracts, but Trent is the biggest one of them all, because if you cut him, you're gonna have to take this kind of big hit right there. That's like quarterback money right there.
I know, and that's the point, right? Like if you're trying to pay Brock Purdy 45-50 million, you have to free it up somewhere. But then do you want to do it freeing it up and not having a blindside blocker for Purdy? I think that's part of what makes Purdy so comfortable in his progressions, is he knows that Trent's on the blind side, so he can just sit back and kind of fire away. I mean, you bring up good points. But, I don't think Trent's the type either that if he does want to play, that he's going to play for anything less than his contract.
Nah, I think his contract is only because he's financially secure. But I think for him, I don't even think money is even the option for him. I think he just wants to finish his contract and end it on a high note. So his contract is good until he's 38 at least, but 39 is avoidable. But for this situation, it's good. I think we need to start investing in offensive.
But they can trade him.
Who would want to tackle? Who want to tackle at 37 or 38, bro? They're hoping maybe one good year.
I mean, look at Tyron Smith at the Jets. Like, he's not that age yet, but he plays like he's that age. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is gonna. Good luck. Good luck with that, Rodgers.
Oh yeah, Rodgers is going to meet a familiar face. Leonard Floyd's going to be on this side of the field.
Yeah. So that was just kind of my thoughts there. If trade Trent, if he refuses to retire, I don't think he will. But you could draft essentially his replacement. I think this was a deep draft class for tackles, and there's definitely not anybody that's going to provide that level of stability for Brock Purdy. So it's kind of one of those things where, he's getting paid like old quarterback money like 2-3 years ago. But I don't know.
Yeah, if like even what Jason just said, Biz, if we had one last season, he would have been done. But if we had next season, I think by then he'll finish the end of his contract. So I think what we got to do next year is to actually go look for a tackle to replace him. Because if you're gonna stick with that option, then we're screwed. But for this upcoming season, I think the fact that we're confident with some of our backups, that I think they already like what they've seen with, Jalen Moore may not be such a good name for everybody else, but if you need him for a couple games, he can step in and do okay. But he's not the kind of guy that's going to be your starter, So maybe that's why they're too confident with him.
Yeah, I think there's also, this is kind of a wild card factor, is Dominic Pooney. He did play left tackle at Kansas, and he allowed 0 sacks last year. So that could be a guy to watch, and maybe he becomes like the premier swing tackle. Maybe he even plays a little bit on the right, but he could be somebody potentially that puts over for Trent Williams.
He would be a natural. He would be a natural, but I saw a press conference of Chris Forrester, and he just sees more of Pooney playing the guard spot, but he says that it's not out of the picture that he would want to put him out at tackle if he needs to be. But I think
I think they're going to try him out there. They have to, because 0 sacks in a season, even in college, is pretty good. That's elite at the college.
I don't know. I don't know why we can't just let him play his natural position for right now. Like, let him just play tackle and see how he does. Maybe he might beat out McKivitz, but.
Well, can you imagine if you could free up that $35 million of Trent's, and you got a guy that comes in behind him, learns a year behind him, learns all the tricks and trades behind Trent Williams.
Yeah, and then why would
I
you
mean,
want to let go somebody like an Aaron Banks caliber? You know, like Banks is like he locks in that other side with Trent. So yeah, what's going on, man? Everybody's got some good jokes with me today. Um, yeah, but I think for this year, Trent Williams, I think his main goal is to get a ring. So I think that's why he's pretty much playing like a different, I think that's the plan for Trent. I don't even think money's even the issue with Trent. I think he just wants to play as long as he could.
yeah, I mean, well, hopefully that's the case, and he'd be willing to restructure just to help the team
I
out. He
think
knows
that's
that Purdy is like due to get paid, so he would
I
have to
think
do that.
I think he's gonna have to take a massive pay cut at some point, maybe like a little, like maybe a reasonable pay cut. But I think I think that's what's so good about Trent. He's all about giving back. He's done it with few teammates. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, then you have guys like Kittle and Warner who have restructured, so those guys have kind of already laid the groundwork for that type of thing. So,
yeah,
and then there's obviously like guys like Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga and those types of guys. We don't know
yeah.
what's going to happen with them because.
Hufunga's
Go
gonna
ahead.
be the tricky. Hufunga's gonna be the tricky one because, like, what if we let him just play out the rest of his rookie contract and he has a great season? That's going to be an issue to deal with.
Yeah, especially if he like returns to Pro Bowl All Pro form. I mean, how do you deal with that? Like I mean,
That's
you could try to trade him. I mean, I don't know.
Grant Dizer, the question for rumors of who will restructure contracts for the Niners this year. Fred Warner actually took a restructured, so
I don't think anybody's going to restructure. I don't think that anybody's really in a position to restructure. I don't think Nick Bosa is going to do it. He just got his contract last year.
I think next year he'll do some of that. But right now, he's trying to take some of the remaining of that big contract.
And then, maybe not even next year because Bosa's due $30.6 million next year in guaranteed money.
Yes, and I think the one who might do the pay cut is probably Trent Williams because I think that's the kind of teammate he is. He'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, I mean, time's obviously going to tell. So I don't know if he's in it for the money. He obviously wanted a lot of money when he got that last contract, and he got a lot of money. He's worth like almost $200 million now. So yeah.
I mean, that's just part of the team deal. Like, but damn, so I didn't really realize until you showed me this, bro. So McCaffrey is not going anywhere anytime soon, I guess. So
yeah.
So I guess if people were questioning about the contract situation, that's no longer the issue. It's just, is he getting married? So we already heard about that part. So, yeah. But I'm actually kind of intrigued to see how, because I know Elijah Mitchell is the odd man out next year. He ain't coming back. I just see that drafting Garendo is pretty much the obvious choice to replace him. So if you draft somebody like Garendo, you're gonna get somebody to take over Mitchell's spot at some point. This is part of
John Jay. Yeah.
Yeah. A question for the panel with receiver market value going up. What is the realistic contract? Oh, since we want to go on the Brandon Ayuk contract. Okay, so like we were just saying, there's a difference between the top and where Ayuk's at. Ayuk is up there, but I wouldn't consider him like the top of the other guys, Like Justin Jefferson, he's been very consistent. So but is he worth $35 million? No, but that's how
Justin Jefferson's his contract is unprecedented. Like that has not happened. He broke the mold. He's set the bar really high. I don't think anybody's going to climb the ladder that high. Personally,
I think Jamar Chase might be the closest. I think Jamar Chase might be the closest.
I think CeeDee Lamb is probably closer to Justin Jefferson than that, and Jerry Jones is nuts, so he'll pay him that amount of money. You know how Jerry Jones is.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So Ayuk, from my perspective, like answering the question, I think that Brandon Ayuk is probably going to get somewhere in the range of like AJ Brown, maybe with another year. I think that maybe another year, maybe a little bit more guaranteed money, and I kind of feel like that's where that's going for Ayuk. I think we're talking like 4 years, 125 million, maybe 50 million, fully guaranteed or guaranteed at signing. That's kind of what I think.
This is what I'm actually hoping for. Okay, so we're already looking at the current contracts, right? if he can get something like St. Brown's or a little less, then that's definitely a win-win because now you look at the rest of the contract. St. Brown's contract is like kind of like small pennies now, if you think about it, because now you sell Jefferson. But okay, so I think realistically, if we're going by
St. Brown is a slot, he's a slot receiver. If we're
he's getting $28 million, bro.
80% of his snaps were like from the slot. So like, you know, I don't think that Ayuk's not going to say Ayuk plays on the outside, so he's going to demand more money. I don't think that you can really use St. Brown as a bar. I think that he's going to get a lot more than St. Brown.
It would be a shocker, but I think realistically, okay. So if we're going by realistic of the contract, you know, you said he might get a little more than St. Brown. If he gets about $28.5 or $29 million, then okay, that's a win-win because we didn't have to give him the $30 million range. So if we can get around
I think that's the range he's going to get, though. I think, like, realistically, 4 years, maybe avoidable year at the end, 120 in between. I actually think in between 50 and 55 million guaranteed. That's just what I think.
Okay, so if I'm going by the contract prediction, I'm going to say 4 years, $118 million with at least $65 million guaranteed or something like that.
Yeah. Now I think we're talking like kind of the same thing. I think that's the range that we're kind of looking at.
I think he cares about the guarantee money. I think he cares more about the guarantee money more because that's where he's financially safe. But I think as far as the bar, it can go up to 118. But I don't think Ayuk's going to reset the market, man. I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm telling you, Tommy's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Nah, but shout out to John Jay. He's a good dude too. But everybody else. I guess the Jim Everett troll was by somebody else, and then the real one just came in. So he doesn't do that kind of stuff. I think
that guy is everywhere. The Jim Everett guy, I see him kind of everywhere.
No, but the real one's actually more chill. He's not like the other one that trolls.
So 2025, just to throw this out there, those two players combined are almost 60 million.
That's going to hurt our cap space, but I think one has to go. That's going to be the tough one.
I think it's probably Debo. I hate to say it.
That's the toughest part. And the crazy part about this is we drafted 2 wide receivers, so that kind of gives you the indication. If we weren't going to pay Juwan Jennings, I think Jennings would have been the odd man out, but nope, it's Debo. It's the other way around.
We kind of already discussed this, and Tommy elaborated with the Hargrave mother hips.
Man, the hippo. We call him the hippo. I'm just playing.
So, but yeah, his contract is actually as big as his hips, I guess. So like that's.
He looks like Anthony Anderson. Like you put Anthony Anderson on his little sad face.
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do with this contract. It's a problem.
It's gonna be a huge issue. And here's your favorite guy in the comments section, man. Here's your favorite dude.
Who's
Kenny?
Kenny?
Your boy Kenny. Not just playing. He's cool.
What's up, Kenny? Yeah, we got a lot of cool peeps in here.
But it definitely caught me by surprise because I just looked it up and it said that Christian McCaffrey is good for a couple more extra years. So, man, that's like, that's just how bad it is when I have to catch up from working graveyard. Sometimes you miss a little here and there.
I think this one is going to be doable. I think this one we can get 10 million back here. Even if Malik Collins is good, I kind of feel like we could sustain the blow of losing him for $10 million. I think that $10 million helps out with a lot of extensions. It helps out with, Brock Purdy. It's going to help out if Trent restructures but wants more guaranteed money. There's a lot of things going on there.
But I think the problem with Malik Collins is, like, let's say this guy breaks out. Let's say he gets 7.5 sacks and actually disrupts and becomes a factor. Like, even though it's $10 million, maybe you can work a way to restructure his contract or maybe extend his contract, extend it to where you could stretch up the money. Because I think Malik Collins, bro, he is the most underrated player, and I don't think he gets enough recognition for the work he puts in. I think he's going to pay huge dividends this year.
Yeah, I definitely have high hopes for him, and also Elliott. I mean, that guy is massive. He's huge. He's a space eater. But Collins has really good technique. He probably came over from D'Amico with raving reviews, which is why the Niners felt comfortable in signing him.
Giving up a 7th-round pick would have been pretty obvious, but that's a steal.
Absolutely, for a 7th-round pick. I mean, there's no guarantees in the 7th round. And by the way, speaking of 7th-round picks, our boy Larry Kruger said that Braden Willis was balling out today at OTA. So just wanted to throw that in there. Drop a little nugget in there.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Like I told a lot of people, don't sleep on Braden. And I know some people be like, say, "Oh, you're just an OU bias fan." I'm like, dude, I watched this kid play for a while, and his dad.
One thing he said was they were lining him out outside. They were putting him out because that's how good of a receiver he is. So we both know because we
very versatile.
But they were lining him out on the outside, and he was getting some looks out there. So I thought that was pretty.
Well, I want to put it out there. I'll put it out there for John Jay. This guy right here likes the same exact college football team as me. Like we like the Sooners, man. Maybe sooner or later we're gonna call our own show called the Sooner Brothers Podcast. I'm just playing.
I think he meant 87 million. That's guaranteed at signing, and then 100. Oh yeah, total. Yeah, it's not 27.
Actually, his guaranteed. Okay. Actually, his guaranteed money is $110 million.
Yeah, total. And then he gets 87 at signing. So I think that was just a typo. I think he meant 87.
I think it might have been. Yeah. But I think the guarantee, it says 110, which is insane.
Yeah. So that's why I think that with Brandon Ayuk, I think the guaranteed money changed. And I know a lot of Niners fans are upset. They're like, why did we wait to do this? Larry Kruger is one of those guys like, why did we wait to do this? But they literally needed Eric Armstead's money to free up, and that happens so quickly that unless you already have a contract in place, like how do you do that?
Yeah,
they could have played him like after Amon-Ra St. Brown. They could have done it after that and just maybe given him a little bit more. But I think Ayuk was waiting for this domino to fall. He's probably still maybe even waiting for CeeDee Lamb to fall. And
I think CeeDee Lamb will determine the contract, and I think you're going to see the Lamb contract get done pretty soon. I mean,
and 1,000,000% Jerry Jones is going to overpay. 1,000,000%.
He's going to overpay. He's going to overpay.
That's what he does. I mean, if you look at the Ezekiel Elliott contract, I mean, this guy overpays. Like, he just starts throwing money at players like they're at a strip club or something, like he just doesn't care. He's just like, here you go. Go buy a car.
Oh, okay. To answer Kenny's question, I don't know where Larry Kruger gets the idea that this dude's a fullback, bro. We watched Braden Willis. This dude barely played any fullback, bro. He was only asked for certain package plays. Like when you're watching Oklahoma football, did Braden Willis ever play fullback? No.
Nope.
There was just certain packages.
He would kind of do like an H-back thing, but it wasn't like a true fullback where he's like the lead blocker. He would do an H-back thing where he kind of went out and caught a little screen. He never, ever was a fullback.
He was never a fullback, dude. Like, if you watched a lot of Oklahoma football, you would see where he was lined up. Like, you would think maybe he was, but that was small percentage snaps. And then I've talked with Braden's dad, and actually his mother actually kind of like she can get me on the show with him, so we'll work something down the road. But from what Braden told me from messages a while back, he told me that in college he wasn't quite used much as a fullback. Like, he was just used as a guy that did everything. Like, if you needed him to do certain plays, he was the kind of guy to do it.
Well, I think that's what Jason's kind of alluding to here. Like, kind of a little bit like Debo. He was just kind of a jack of all trades, and he moved around. He was a Swiss Army knife. So that, I mean, I could see
he's kind of like a Delaney Walker.
Debo, but
he's more like a Delaney Walker. Like, if anybody knows who Delaney Walker was, that dude was a Swiss Army.
Absolutely, that is a great comparison. I actually love that comparison. Delaney actually took it to another, and he took it to another level when he went to Tennessee. Like, he was a Pro Bowler. He had to sit behind Vernon Davis, but I love that comp, actually.
Yeah, because what Walker was in college was a receiver, but he actually was asked to do everything. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, and then we kind of took a brief look at 2025 where we could save some money. Some of the guys like Hargrave and Malik Collins and Debo are all potentially cap casualties. I mean, obviously the thing is, like Brock Purdy, everyone assumes that he's going to get paid 45, to 50 million. And I don't always love his takes, but Rob Stats Guerrera brought up a good point today. He's like, I'm glad that we are forced to have one more year with Brock Purdy because anything can happen. Like he could get injured. He could have a really, a subpar year. I don't think he's the type of guy that's ever going to get in his head or anything like that. But he bounced back after that 3-game skid, and just torched Jacksonville. So he knows he has that ability. He knows he has the ability to come back like he did in the playoffs. So I don't expect like production for him to like have a real big setback, but anything could happen. He could have another huge injury. Knock on wood. Everybody knock on wood right now if you're sitting by any, or anything like that. So I am glad about that. Last thing you want to do is pay a guy too early and then have it backfire in your face. So
yeah, and I think what's really good about this year is Brock Purdy can prove his worth this upcoming season. Like the question is, can he do it again? And if he does it again, which I believe he will, because he's going to have a lot of weapons. You got a lot of receiver talent. The tight end group should be a little bit better. I think the signing of Logan Thomas doesn't really indicate. We were just talking about it like the other day, and I remember we were bringing it up, and you thought, hey, he ain't guaranteed a number 2 job. Mm-hmm. And I'll definitely agree on that part because just because you brought him in doesn't mean it's going to be, he's going to be handed the job. No, I think he already signed a very cheaper deal, like a league minimum. So he could easily be the number 3 or 4 tight end.
And Shanahan essentially confirmed that today in the press conference. So he was asked about Logan Thomas. He didn't say, he's a lock to be tight end too. He said he's here to compete. He said he's here to compete. We like our tight end room behind Kittle. He's here to compete. He's not here to be handed a job. So let's get that straight right off the bat. He's not going to be handed anything. He's going to have to earn every single step of the way. He's 33 heading into camp, and he's injury prone. I mean, I loved him 3 years ago. I'm not sure I love him now.
Yeah. I mean, last season he had 55 catches, but let's be honest.
And that's another thing too, right? Like he's not. I mean, not many people are Kittle in terms of being able to receive and block at a high level. I mean, that's elite. That's an elite trait. It's rare. Usually you're either going to be a receiving tight end or a blocking tight end. And like we had Dwelley, we had Warner. Warner was a blocking tight end. Dwelley was more of a receiving tight end. So I think that's sort of the look that they're trying to
replace both sides.
Emulate. Yeah. And so, I mean, I think it might be between Willis and Thomas for that receiving role. And then it's for the other guys, the Latu and Saubert and Pline.
Yeah.
Maybe not Pline. I think Pline's going to be a practice squad developmental guy.
He'll be a project. Yeah, he's going to be more of a project. I think he'll be either better next year unless somebody takes him off our practice squad. But
right.
Like, okay, so when you look at these expectations, like Cameron Latu has to come out healthy and step up, or else I'm going to prove my point right. Because I've said this, like what I've seen from Latu was, project, bro. Like you went from playing linebacker or DN from college, and that takes time for the transition. So he had 2 good last seasons at Alabama, but to be honest with you, that still takes time to evolve more because you got to play that position. And when I've seen this type of prospect before, I know this may sound crazy, but I've seen a lot of Blake Bell into Latu. Latu is like, I said Vance McDonald because of the stone hands and all that, but remember Blake Bell had a switch from quarterback to tight end. And I think it was only one season that he projected to play tight end, but this is the same situation, except Latu had only another extra year to play the position. But I still think he's still new to the position. So that's where I'm kind of like.
What do you think Latu's ceiling is?
Latu's ceiling is like Vance McDonald, bro.
Like another question is like, let's say Latu is kind of lackluster and all that kind of thing. Do the 49ers give him one more red shirt year on the practice squad? They could easily sneak him on the practice squad because the guy doesn't have, like, nobody's coming for that guy to put him on their 53.
The problem is Do you think that, bro? It can be any other team might be able to try to take him, bro, because of the value spot. But I think you might be right. I think this is the problem with Latu, bro.
And that's a risk you're willing to take, right? Like I think
it's the risk you're
put him
willing
on the
to
practice squad. If somebody grabs him, oh well, right?
Yeah, it's not like a big loss in some ways, but I think you overvalue this guy. You don't want to be wrong about this pick because you know how Kyle is, bro. Kyle doesn't want to admit he was wrong about this pick.
Right. Yeah.
But but I want to just say this, man. I know there's been times I've kind of been wrong on certain stuff, but I'm sticking with this tune. I'm saying Brayden Willis is going to be the better tight end when it's all said and done. I don't see, between him and Cameron Latu, I don't even think it's a contest. I think you're going to see what Brayden is going to be in year 2. I believe this preseason you're going to see a better Willis.
Well, it's kind of like Elijah Mitchell, right? Was that the year we drafted Joe Williams?
No. We drafted Elijah Mitchell, but we got Trey Sermon that year.
Right, and then Elijah Mitchell wound up being the better
back. Yeah, but that was the problem right there. Was I don't think it matters the draft spot, but I think so. When you saw the difference, okay, just because of what Trey Sermon did at Ohio State, they thought it would have translated well, but he wasn't quite a natural there yet, So
his running style did not fit that zone scheme run.
It did not.
Like you have to see the hole and just go. That's why guys like Cody Schrader and those types of guys are going to work. Because they just see it and they go. And Sermon danced around too much.
Yeah, and something that I'll agree with Jason is he's right about it. Like Willis should have been the 3rd round pick, not Latu. Like I think the fact that he slid to the 7th round, it's a slap in the face. And
well, I think in 2, like OU had a down year. When he was drafted, he was a star player on a team that normally gets a lot of recognition, but was not getting a lot of recognition.
It was our down year with Venable. Venable was the head coach, but we had barely because that was the year that Lincoln Riley just left us dry, and all that BS stuff.
I'm going to start getting heated if bringing that up.
But Dylan Gabriel was all right, but he wasn't like.
No, he was terrible. But
oh, dude.
Yeah. Hopefully things get better this year.
Like a poor man Russell Wilson.
Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley just said adios. Hollywood.
It's sick of me. But I just had to throw that name out there just because that was our down year because those guys left.
So we're kind of moving through 2026, and I didn't really look at it too deeply. I thought we might, but we're hitting almost 45 minutes now. So not that we're on a time constraint, but I'm here in Central Time Zone, so it's getting a little late here.
Yeah, Kyle Juszczyk is avoidable, of course. Like you could tell by next year, Juszczyk's gone. So
yeah, and they may not even. I think why we drafted a bunch of receivers this year is because they are planning. Like despite what Kyle Shanahan said, I think they are planning on passing it more, and into the future. So you can maybe eliminate the running back. And then do like an H-back type situation.
Oh, but let's answer Grandizer's question. Actually, this is a good one to go for with this question right here. So, question: so, any 49er rookies turning heads in OTAs, who are you personally rooting for? As far as a guy who's turning heads right now, I gotta say Malik Mustafa is actually turning heads right now. Like he's actually kind of turning heads from what I'm hearing about. But the guy that I'm rooting for is this may sound crazy, but as far as I'm hearing, is Malik is actually doing well. But if I'm picking somebody to root for, man, this Jacob Cowan, bro, like I don't know, something about him just tells me he's gonna be a really good damn.
He hasn't really been active. He was out again today. He was out, last week. He was out I don't know what's going on with him, injury or whatever, but like he's been.
I don't know what it is, but I'm rooting for this guy to have a role with this team. But realistically, I think Ronaldo Green is somebody I'm pulling for because I want him to be the starter. Because I've seen good reviews of Ronaldo Green. So
I'm guessing because you do the graveyard thing and all that. I'm guessing that you did not see the pressers yet today. So just kind of spoiler alert a little bit for you. Like Ronaldo Green or I'm sorry, Mooney Ward was asked about Renardo Green, said he was, sticky in coverage, thought really highly of him, thought he could be a starter in the league. One other thing to note, a lot of the beat reporters, almost all of them, in fact, had the same opinion today of Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall's chemistry. So I guess that's a thing. Like, these guys have hit it off. They know where they're going to be. I guess there was one. Larry said there was one throw that Purdy had. Renardo Green had sticky coverage on him, and it was a physical play, and Ricky came down with the ball. So I think Ricky Pearsall is going to surprise a lot of people.
Even as the fourth receiver, he might surprise people, but production.
Yeah, and I think he's going to get mixed in more than we think he will. And I think we are going to see some 4 wide receiver sets with Jennings and Pearsall out there, and then BA and then Debo. And that'll also keep guys fresh. Like, Debo can come get some wind, right? Like, and you can put BA out there and Pearsall, because Pearsall could play slot, he can play outside, just like BA. And you can kind of move these guys around and keep them fresh for all 4 quarters. So I think that's a plus.
Yeah, it is. Because if you look at the rest of because, you want to make sure you open one-on-one coverage for certain players. So getting somebody like Pearsall who can actually separate in college can actually be a bad thing for them to match up wise,
I think Cowing is going to find himself on the field, but not frequently, because I think he's so small that, Kyle, what's the saying? Kyle, no block, no rock. And I think Cowing is the type of guy, despite his, he's feisty for his size, but I think he's going to get blown up in the run game. That's just me. 165 pounds in the NFL. That's like asking Devontae Smith for the Eagles to block. It's not a good recipe. So the only time he's going to come in the game is when you want to, pose the threat, like on a 3rd and 15. This guy can take the top off. You have to respect that. So he almost might be like a decoy in that sense.
Yeah, Calvin is more like he's more like a burner. He's like a Tank Dell, because what Tank Dell's doing with the Texans, that's what we're looking to get. But I think Jacob Cowing is kind of like the guy we were hoping to get in the first round. I don't know if this was true, but I've heard rumors that actually we were trying to move up to get Xavier Worthy. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true, because we let the Chiefs kind of.
No, but that's what I've heard, like rumors. I don't know if it's legit.
I personally had him in one of my mock drafts, and I got roasted for it.
But I'm telling you, that could be possibly why the Chiefs moved up. Because if the team that the Bills, they probably weren't going to get him, but they were at least at that. We were at least at that position to maybe get him. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm rolling with Slick Rick. Ricky Pearsall's our guy. He's here for the next few years. Man. So I think he's an awesome route runner. I think he's already one of the things that's been said about him is he has a veteran presence already as a rookie. So we'll see when the pads go on and people are allowed to jam at the line and stuff like that. So we'll see. But Cowing blocking on a 1st and 10. I don't know. I feel good about that.
I think Cowing is exactly what we were hoping to get when we were trying to get that certain player. But I think that was a secondary option to get the speedy receiver. But Slick Rick was more like that one guy that can, when you look at certain offense, right?
Yeah,
you see that most of those guys separate. So when I saw a lot of those other receivers, I've thought about some of the Rams receivers, because you look at Pearsall. Pearsall kind of gives you those kind of Rams traits. Like you look at the Cooper Kups, you look at the Puka, like you were making the similar comparison. Those guys can separate, and that's what you look for at wide receiver, and those guys can catch. But what you see with Jacob Cowing is it's like a resembles of the Dolphins offense with the Texans wide receiver Tank Dell kind of mentality. I think we're trying to open up the offense more of a passing game.
Yeah, I can go with that. I think we're going to see at least a 10% increase in Brock Purdy's pass attempts. 10%, maybe 15%, but I think that's realistic.
So before we end this up, since we already extended CMC, I know there's been a lot of talks of what Larry Krueger's been saying, but do you think it's possible that Garando could be our fullback next year? I don't know, dude, because if we're extending CMC, that answers the running back question going forward.
I almost, and sort of to our last point that we just talked about, the passing game opening up, I don't even know if we're going to carry a fullback. That's the direction of the league.
Because Juszczyk's contract's convertible next year.
Yeah, so that'll open up some money too. So I think that unfortunately, I think Juice is probably on the back nine, probably the 18th hole, about to be at the 19th hole having a drink. Like I don't think that he is a guy that's going to be around for the next couple of years. Unfortunately, as much as we all love Juice, and I don't think the fullback position is getting replaced, which is why we've been drafting the way we've been drafting with Garendo and Braden Willis and these types of guys that have a lot of versatility, but are bigger and can throw a hefty chip on a defensive end.
Yeah. To answer Granddad's question, I'm drinking a 805. It's got lime on the brew. So
I have a Dirty Bastard from
I gotta try that one.
It's actually it's a malt, and it's got some caramel notes, so it's pretty good. It's almost like a dessert beer.
Oh, I gotta try that one day. So I don't know. Like I think you get them at your state, not nowhere else.
Yeah. I'm here in Tennessee, and you're in the Central Valley in California, so we have totally different beer selections, which actually makes this cool because you might run into one of these one day and say, "Hey, if you're a beer drinker." Not everybody is, but if you are,
I'm trying to wait for my Colt 45, and it hasn't even been ordered yet. I got it ordered, and it hasn't been shipped yet, man. I'm trying to get the double malt. Damn it, you don't even get them here no more. But I think as far as the cap space, I think we're covering everything we need to cover.
2027 is insane because we have sky's the limit, 227.7 million open.
So he says Friday show's a drinking show. Come by a drink with. I wish I could, but I worked that day, so I don't want to be drunk at the job.
Can't drink on the job.
Can't drink on the job because actually, I got a funny story. Actually, the one mistake I've ever made was I was drinking on the job that a while back, and then I got fired because I was sleeping on the job. I was so raged that day because I wasn't even thinking right. So I was dealing with some type of a guy that was breaking into the building, and I actually came into a confrontation. But the weird part was I didn't even you didn't even tell if I was even drunk or not, bro. But that was just how bad it was. But I guess I kind of had that little rage, and I almost fucking hit him. And he got scared and ran off and reported. And I'm like, dude, you were trying to break in. Get out of here.
All right. We can open it up for a 49ers Q&A if you want. We can answer some questions.
Yeah, let's go a couple questions.
Let's see here. We'll go with Jason's. Blocking downfield is 85%.
It's going to be important.
Tacklers, not actual blocking. I agree with that, especially in today's NFL. Unless you're the Chiefs and can get away with holding for an entire 4 quarters, then yeah.
I could show you some of the techniques of these O-lines, bro. I played this position. I know how they get away with this holding stuff. I played it for quite a while, so I know what their techniques are, bro. It's just the best way to beat them is you got to kick them in the low blow.
Yeah, and so the second part of that was cowing. I don't know, like if you got a 215-pound safety running this way and a 165-pound guy running this way, and they collide. 165-pound guy is going to explode into confetti. That's just the way I see it. But
no, I mean 165-pound against a guy that's almost 200 pounds, bro.
Like imagine Cowing versus Malik Mustafa just running kind of head on. Even if they clip each other, who's gonna? I mean, it's physics, right? Like,
but I think physics is going to be Malik. Malik's going to win the battle because he's built like a specimen right there. Like I don't know. This guy just looks like a freak with the specimen mentality. But let's answer, I guess, like a couple more questions. But man, speaking of
talking to Jim,
yeah, Friday shows. I don't really do Friday shows like everybody else, but
yeah, I'm kind of like busy with my own life on Friday nights and stuff like that too. So
I had that one guy on Friday. I had that one actor on next Friday, like yesterday. He's got some good stories.
Yeah. You guys go check out. What is your entertainment channel that you?
It's
interviews like Hollywood people.
Oh, Ruthless Sports Entertainment or something like that. It's got like wrestlers. It's got like a lot of. It's got some actors and rappers on there too. But
and you the week before that, or maybe it was 2 weeks, you did Doughboy from Friday, right? The
Oh
kid
no,
version.
no. Doughboy was like almost a year ago actually, because
Okay.
this one had the most views out of all my backup channel. Like the most views I've got out of that channel was like 14. No, actually 1.6K views on that interview. Oh, good choice.
Appreciate you.
I might need to try that Dirty Bastard. I don't know. Sounds like a cool name.
Do you have did you try the Voodoo Ranger thing yet?
Not yet. Like I was about to, but I decided to get something a little different. I don't want to make it sound like I'm copying the following week. It just doesn't seem right. So I just had to go a little different. But I have like two voodoos. The one that's not the juice one, and then the other one that's just the juice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anybody. If there's any like salary cap related questions, there's this one up here too.
We should bring that cap space guy on Twitter. He knows his stuff.
Jason Hurley.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. If you actually inbox him or get a hold of him, he doesn't mind.
I think I saw on Twitter that he's like about to have a couple surgeries, so he might be out of commission for a little bit.
Might be. I guess he might be out for a while. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to try to see. You need to try to see if you can get Matt Miyoko, man, because you say you still talk to him.
Yeah, I could. I don't know what his contract obligations are with NBC, but yeah, I definitely, have talked with Matt for the past since the mid 2000s. So yeah, definitely.
I think you just have to get. I think they just have to contact their agents to get the approval and all that stuff. So as soon as Braden's agent approves this situation, the mom will get back to me about it. So that's what I've been told. But Adam Snyder had a different schedule delay, so he hasn't really got back to me. I thought we were going to get something done, but something just happened, and he said he'll get back to me very soon. But it's just, okay. You got to ask for some of the moonshine where Drew lives.
That's true. We do have really good moonshine. I mean, I could send you a bottle. I know it's your weekend right now, so like if you wanted me to send you, I could like FaceTime you or whatever when I'm at the liquor store and say, I mean, they have watermelon moonshine, they got moonshine, they got every kind of moonshine that you could think of. But we do have some good moonshine.
Yeah, I got the midnight one, whatever it is, the lightning one. I got that one. They got the watermelon and they got the apple pie one too at the liquor store that I've seen.
Yeah, we have like every single version of apple pie moonshine that you could think of. So,
but I know there's the one I know the one that you get. That one's the more like 100% alcohol shit that I've heard of.
It is dangerous. Let me warn you. Like I have had some nights where we've had family in town and it snuck up on me and I'm telling Alexa to turn the volume up to 48 and got people laughing on the floor, all kinds of crazy shenanigans. And moonshine's dangerous. It's
dangerous if you overdrink it, because if you overdrink it, you could be dead.
And you don't even realize like that you're drinking that much because it tastes fine. Like going down, it's smooth. So,
once your throat fills the hot part, you're gonna puke.
I don't know. I think that it's one of the most dangerous alcohols out there because you don't really. It creeps up on you. It definitely creeps up on you.
You know what's the most dangerous drink to have that you might even be surprised is those Four Locos, bro. Like if you drink more than a couple, bro.
That's like liquid crack. I haven't messed with that stuff since like high school.
But I don't mess with it no more. But
all right. Well, it looks like we don't have any Niners related questions, so I think we can maybe wrap this one up. We appreciate everybody for being here. I don't have any more beer left, but cheers to y'all for making the show. And
I haven't finished it all.
We are gonna skip next Tuesday, but we will be back on. What do we say? The 18th.
Yeah, June 18th. So June 18th, we'll see you guys. We'll just take a little week off because there's not going to be enough content. So once things start to kick in, we'll do more. And
training camp will ramp it back up and get back in every week and give you guys a little happy hour. Next time you guys bring your drinks if you can, if you're not at work. Some of y'all are on the West Coast, but some of y'all are not. So,
maybe one of those days we can bring a little hangout for some of these Niner guys. Like maybe we can put Jason in for a little bit. Maybe we can put in Kenny. I know some of them want to jump in and hang out with us. Maybe we can do one of those shows, one of those days where we have everybody kick in and hang out and drink a little beer.
Definitely. Maybe, definitely. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys, and we are going to wrap it up. And we will see you 2 Tuesdays from now, and we'll see y'all in chats and all the other chats and stuff like that on YouTube because I see some of y'all. So we'll see you there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Appreciate you.
Salute.